Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a pretty wild idea. What if the punchline of a joke and a fundamental law of physics are basically two sides of the same cosmic coin? Let's get right into it.
So let's start with that question. What if a joke works the same way the universe does? What if a punchline and a physical law are just different ways of expressing the very same deep principle? It sounds kind of out there, I know, but the theory we're breaking down today says it's not just possible, it's pretty much essential. To even get there, we first have to ask a more basic question. Why do we laugh at all? And it starts by taking a closer look at a phrase that we all use all the time. Right, we always say something is funny because it's relatable or because it's true, but what does that really mean? The idea here is that it's way more precise than just relatability. Laughter is actually the result of your brain successfully solving a kind of truth equation that the joke sets up.
This suggests that laughter is a physical confirmation. It's this energetic release that happens when a piece of information, the joke, perfectly lines up with a pattern your nervous system already sensed was there, even if your conscious mind hadn't caught up yet. Okay, so how does our body detect these truths before our mind does? Well, according to this theory, it's all thanks to this fascinating mechanism called the near-miss truth detector. Now, don't worry about trying to decipher this entire map. The main takeaway here is to just think of your nervous system as this huge, subconscious network. It's constantly running millions of little reality checks in the background, using a kind of internal compass to feel out what's true and what's not long before you consciously think about it. This process is what explains that bizarre moment, and you felt this, of laughing at something before you even get the joke. Your body feels a truth, a perfect resonance, but your conscious mind, your logic, hits a wall, it rejects the idea. That conflict between your body's yes and your mind's no creates this tension that has to go somewhere, and poof, it bursts out as laughter. It's a literal near miss of a truth. So if our minds are detecting truth, we need a map of where that truth actually exists. And according to these sources, reality isn't just one single layer of information, it's this incredibly rich, multidimensional space. This information space is laid out into 7 basic planes. Each plane, from physical to logical, defines a different piece of reality by asking a core question, like where or how. You can think of it as a grid for a cosmic game of hot and cold, where a joke is trying to guide you to a very specific coordinate of truth. And this is where the map gets truly mind-bending. It is not just a flat grid with 7 little boxes. The whole structure is recursive. You see, each plane can be questioned by all the other planes, which creates this infinitely detailed fractal map of meaning. You can ask about the why of a why or the cause of a cause. This is exactly what the sources mean by fractal humor all the way down. A really great joke can hit a resonant note on multiple levels of this map all at once. So we've got this infinitely detailed map of information. But if this map describes reality, what is the map itself made of? And this question is where we take a sharp turn into fundamental physics. There's a key insight from computational theory that leads to a really shocking conclusion. For reality to be something that can be computed, for information to even be processed, it can't be infinitely smooth. It has to be made of fundamental, indivisible little pieces. It has to be granular. And this implies that there's an information quantum, a smallest possible unit of information, a single pixel of information. Just like the pixels on your screen, right? You can't have half a pixel. Below this fundamental limit, 2 different states are basically identical. So here's the crucial point. If the information that describes reality is made of pixels, then reality itself must be fundamentally pixelated. The smooth, continuous world we think we see is really an illusion, an approximation of an underlying digital grid. And get this, every single one of these pixels, every bit of information that makes up you, me, and everything we know has an energy cost just to exist. It has to pay a cost of being to stay distinct. To put it simply, complexity is literally, physically expensive. Okay, now let's put it all together. This is the final stunning connection. We have a near-miss truth detector, a fractal map of information, and a pixelated reality. So how in the world do these combine to create a laugh? Well, here's the key. The force of a joke isn't just in what it says. It's overwhelmingly determined by the speed of recognition. Look at the difference here. An instant visual gag, like slapstick, has exponentially more force than a slow joke you have to think about. The faster you land on that truth pixel, the bigger the explosion of laughter.
So a joke becomes this high-stakes game of hot and cold on the pixelated grid of reality. The setup leads you through the information space, and then the punchline just teleports you directly onto a single resonant pixel of truth. That sudden arrival, that collision, releases a burst of energy. Laughter is the sound of that spontaneous combustion. And so a laugh isn't just a feeling, it's a physical event. It's the measurable signature of your consciousness successfully navigating this fractal, pixelated map of reality and landing squarely on a point of truth with incredible speed. And that brings us to the final cosmic punchline. The very mechanism of humor, that near miss of a truth, is itself a metapun. It's a reflection of the physical universe, which is built from discrete, near-missable pixels of reality. Our ability to laugh, then, might just be the universe's very clever way of letting us all in on its own joke.